the fairy tale episode 2014's 26 or 101. We'll start with the return of fairy tale to the town, where the many enthusiasts greets the fairy tale gang and having a time of their lives. As Lucy's landlady lord says that despite the fact that Lucy has won the game, she still needs to pay the rent. And some fan clubs woo over Elsa. Only Gray is not smiling because he still remembers the sad fate that happened to Ul. So with no Ultir, and as Natsu decides to show them something, he suddenly just takes up the king's crow. Everyone gets shocked, but then he just, oh no, that's not it. You really took it? Natsu, there, you are too much. And instead he takes up the royal cup. As Yuvia encourages Gray that to smile to everyone here is not nice, Gray says she's right and says he has to smile for her sake too, and does just so. After that, it revealed that the fairy tale building is built again. And pretty soon, the gang can go on a new adventure. So, Lucy, Happy, and Natsu goes on an adventure where they reach a village that is filled with mud. I think this is a filler episode, where apparently a giant mole, or can you really call that mole? It almost looks like a cross between a turtle and a mole. That's dug it. So we said some funny things is that once they get into the dirt, then the their entire bodies become brown. And then Ersa, Gray, and Wendy and Charlie joins them and decides to split the reward. But they cannot do anything as the mole just keeps getting away from them. But they also changes, charges, chases Lucy. And then the mayor reveals that apparently the mole was once a pet of another person that moved away, and then it grew into giant size. And the reason why it's chasing Lucy is because Lucy has a big chest, because it's mating seasons of the moles. The reason why it's not chasing Ersa is apparently because she's wearing so much armor it can't tell, and Wendy, well, she's just so flat-chested that the mole doesn't care, which of course makes Wendy cry. So they decided to dress up Lucy as a wedding planner, as she calls Vargo. But Vargo helps Lucy dodging the mole until they finally catches it. And then it reveals that Vargo went somewhere else and dug up a female mole that's a little bit smaller but has a bigger chest, just like the mole likes. So they're happy. Unfortunately, they drag down in the water with the fairy tale gang still with it. And then suddenly we switches to a mood swingers scene. It's Sereth and that little Orba, no, not Orba, that little imp that was clinging on the raven tail. And Mavis appears right next to Seraph as they begin to talk to each other. But even though Seraph says that he cannot see Mavis, he can sense her. As they talk that they were close to each other a long time ago, Seraph talks on how he has lived for so many centuries and seen humankind make the same mistake all over again. And that he looked forward to a time when that will not happen. But no anymore, it won't happen. So, as Mavis says, the fairy tale will renew the hope of mankind. Seraph only says that if the world denies him, he will deny this world. If she asks there will be a world, he suddenly gets terrifying, says no, a one-sided annihilation. I won't let anyone alive. And Mavis returns with just such eyes and says, fairy tale will stop you. The one who will destroy it is you. As they stare down on each other, even though Seraph cannot see her, Seraph smiles and says to Natsu that the final battle is drawing near. Either way, this was a pretty enjoyable episode. A pretty funny start for then suddenly a violent mood swing. I think though the manga scene of this had a little bit more impact than the anime. in that scene of Seraph and Mavis. The reason for that may be because it felt like it was rushed a bit. But this filler episode actually felt funny. Give me your thoughts if you have any.